Well, I have in the studio Patrick Yaobuama. He's a member of parliament for Ablekuma Central, Okankwe Central, and he's here for us to have some lengthy chat on a number of issues. And we know that the Progressive Nationalist Forum has mounted pressure on the chairperson of the Electoral Commission to resign for holding two positions concurrently, well, at least according to what the Ghana Reinsurance says prior to December. She had been appointed at the time, though. And according to the PNF, the action by the EC chair, Charlotte Osei, breaches Article 44 plus 4 of the 1992 Constitution. Is that true?
It's correct.
You want to make some referrals first?
No, I thought you were...
Just doing an intro?
Yes.
Okay. And so the group, in a statement signed by its convener, Richard Nyama, said evidence we possess showed that Mrs. Osei, before her appointment as the chairperson of the commission, had been holding that very position as well. And indeed, even when she was the chairperson of the NCCE. We'll also be looking at the issues of the strike action intended or perhaps likely to come off if there's no consensus reached in the current meetings with organized labor or between organized labor and the Ministry of Labor over the tariffs on the amenities or the utilities as pegged by the PURC, and also just by the implementation of the energy levy. And lastly, we'll try and see whether we can look at a likely power curtailment in some areas, but even though we've had some assurances by the VRA that the supply will not reduce because the Etiabo gas plant will not shut down. Thank you. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. Good morning to your cherished viewers.
I love the dress.
Thank you.
I think I need to collect your designer's number so that I see whether I can afford the fees. It's
very, very, very affordable. And thank you. Happy New Year to you.
Okay.
To your cherished viewers and to my constituents in Okankwe Central. I got the story. I'm happy with the intro you made. I looked at the Constitution. It's true. The chairman of the EC is not supposed to hold any office of profit other than that position. The chairperson of the EC has been put on the same pecking with the court of appeal judge in terms of salary, remuneration.
So they are the same rank?
Same rank. And the deputies are on the same rank with the High Court judge. Question that the pressure group is raising is that she still sits on the board of the Ghana Reinsurance, and they have evidence that she's traveled on their ticket, still attends board meetings, and if that is the case, then she's put herself in a position of conflict. It's unconstitutional, and she has got to come clean on this or take a bow from that position. I say so because we are in an election year. You wouldn't want the referee who is going to manage the election to be entangled in such a situation. She's a lawyer. She's supposed to know that she's not supposed to sit on a board or put herself in any conflict situation. I know she was appointed by late President Mills to sit on the Ghana Commercial Bank Board. Later, she was moved to the National Commission for Civic Education. She's been elevated to chair the Electoral Commission, a very noble institution that is supposed to be independent to organize a transparent, free, and fair elections. I expect her to come out with a statement to clarify the position, because the group says they have evidence. If that is the case, then she is in big, big trouble. And I don't expect her to have put herself in that situation. For now, we don't have the clear facts. It may or may not be true, but the group says they have the evidence.
According to the board secretary of Ghana Reinsurance, she was on the board until December. She resigned.
When was she appointed? When was she sworn in? She was appointed if my memory serves me right, around August, thereabout.
August, September, thereabout.
Yeah, thereabout. And she ought to have known as a lawyer, and she supervised, I think, 2 by-elections already, Talensi and Amenfi West. She's been in the seat. She had a panel discussion on MPP's position on the voters register. She issued a statement on the 31st of December. She's been in the driving seat, and she ought to have known that per Article 44(4) of the Constitution, she was not supposed to hold any other office of profit. And that being the case, a conflict situation has arisen. It's unconstitutional, and it's a conduct that the Constitution abhors. And she has to come out with a statement to clarify it. Otherwise, she'll be in trouble.
What does it mean then? If, let's say, she resigned by December, but she was still holding that very position from the time of her appointment to that period.
What must she have done?
Well, she didn't. Let's say she didn't do all she. That's the case. She didn't do it until December, and it means she refunds whatever board fees there were.
You see, it's not about refunding. It's about the principle.
And the breach.
Yes, that you are the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, and you were not honest to Ghanaians. How would Ghanaians trust you? That you held another position in conflict with your new appointment as a chairperson of the Electoral Commission? In this country, a principle must apply that when you are appointed to a certain position, it comes with certain respect and responsibilities.
And conditions.
And conditions. The conditions are set out under the Constitution. She earns all the conditions attached to a Court of Appeal judge. Maybe, I know she's about 18 to 20 years plus at the bar. She would have qualified to sit on the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeal if she had chosen that route. But once she's gone through the mill and she's been made the chairperson of the EC, she ought to have known that that position is very, very important. Much more in an election year when Ghanaians are expecting that her institution lives above board, conducts a free and fair election. She should not be embroiled in any conflict situation that will raise eyebrows or make people feel or have a certain negative view about her and her institution. You know, this country, a lot of suspicions are being cooked. So, as the sole referee for the election, she should make sure that at every point in time, she's clean, she's respected, she is not suspected of any foul play.
Honorable Patrick Bama, she's human, is that not it? It could have been just an oversight, not deliberate.
This is a serious oversight.
Yeah, it's a serious oversight.
Because she was appointed, she was sworn into office. Is she saying that she didn't know? I'm told, and I don't have the facts, that she still attends board meetings. It didn't prick her conscience. If that be the case.
Well, prior to December,
yes.
She was still a member, so
yes.
she could have.
She should have known, at least.
You're thinking she should have known?
She should. She ought to have known.
She ought to have known.
Yes.
Okay. Any reprimands, if that is the case, if there's a breach, so to speak, usually what should happen? Who needs to take, which institution needs to take an action?
You see, it's an independent body, and they are not subject to interference. So, if it were to be any other jurisdiction, she would have resigned on principle. But we are waiting. You see, these are all speculations.
No.
We don't have the facts.
The thing about that is not speculative is that up to December, which because this has been confirmed by Ghana Reinsurance, she was a member.
Then Lady Charlotte is in trouble.
Then up to the time I checked by afternoon, her pictures were as part of board members on the site.
And even
and then I saw a diary by afternoon. Her name, her picture was
in their diary.
Yeah.
Then Lady Charlotte is in trouble.
Personally, so.
Madame Charlotte Kinsey has got to issue a statement on this brouhaha. Otherwise, people will have a certain negative view about her. That if something happens at a polling station, she will tell Ghanaians that she didn't know.
But that's preemptive. She's resigned that very position by December, so...
She has?
Well,
has she resigned?
Yes, she has resigned that very position by December. Yeah, she did.
But in between that, she kept receiving board allowances, did she?
Well, we don't know about that.
You don't know about that?
That one has
What I'm saying is that she ought to have known that as chairperson of the EC, she shouldn't have occupied any other position and ought to have resigned that position. Immediately, the president appointed her, and she went to the Flagstaff House to sign the book in the credentials office.
The swearing-in papers.
Yes, she ought to have resigned, because you know the speed with which the president appointed her and the speed with which she was sworn into office, and the surrounding issues, some of which went to the Supreme Court. So I think we Ghanaians are expecting a statement from Madame Charlotte Osei.
Well, they're taking her picture. As at the time I watched by midday, her picture was off. So let me just make sure that the viewers also get a better perspective. Perhaps our cameras can. Pictures are there. It was here. It was here, but it's been moved. I'm sure when you get a closer look. So now we'll be comfortable.
When was it taken off?
Now it's not there.
When?
I didn't check yesterday evening.
But yesterday it was there.
Yes,
afternoon. That's serious. So she's always been a board member till January.
No, that one they said it was an oversight. She resigned her position in December.
But the board should publish a resignation letter. It's very important that the public gets a copy of her resignation letter.
Well, somebody will say, are we not making too much of a fuss over this?
You see, we are talking about law. It's not about a fuss. We are talking about what the Constitution says and what she's sworn to protect and abide by. That is what we are talking about. It's not about her person. It's about every public official who ought to know A, B, C, D that comes with her job or his job. It's not about her person.
We'll see how that goes. We know there are other critical issues we need to talk about. Members of organized labor, they've given government a one-week ultimatum to withdraw recent levies on petroleum products or face series of nationwide actions. Well, the action is in quotes because we don't know what type of action they intend to win. And we know that they had begun this whole negotiation with government, and this was entered into as far as the second meeting on Thursday. And the Trade Union Congress members are also demanding a reduction in utility tariffs that came into force in December last year. Your view on this?
Thank you very much again. Mr. Asamoah?
Yes, that's his name.
Yes.
Kofi Asamoah.
Kofi Asamoah. Unionist and his group. Ghanaians are looking up to them. We in the opposition will always raise issues and drum home our concerns. But the net effect of government policy, be it petroleum hikes, price hikes, be it PURC and their draconian increases, be it increase in transport fares and what have you, is the ordinary worker, the ordinary Ghanaian, who stands to be affected by such or those decisions. So TUC have got to be very strong. If we had a strong union, government would not introduce such policies. They will do serious consultation with TUC. But from what we are seeing or hearing or reading, it tells you that government never consulted the labor unions. Government never did. So TUC is now threatening government with...
But TUC is on the board of the PURC.
Yes. And they are minority.
Or organized labor is on the board of...
And their views may be in the minority.
So it's not as if they may have no
I don't believe, excuse me, Mr. Kofi Asamoah will go to the board meeting of PURC and go agree to such increment. I doubt
What's wrong with the increment? It's just a...
My brother, you tell me you live at Ashaman. Are you comfortable with the new fares? Are you comfortable with the paying for water and electricity, even though you are not getting regular supply? Are you comfortable with the export prices? Now it's close to 4 cedis and about 4 cedis per gallon. The drivers are going to increase their transportation fares. Salaries are at an all-time low. Ghanaians are not being paid well. So every citizen has a right to complain about what is happening to them in this country. And I don't think a government... The last time I checked, NDC still remains a social democratic party. And by their association, they are supposed to be for the ordinary person, for the poor and the vulnerable in society. But what are we seeing? Their policies are rather killing the poor and the vulnerable in society. So I think TUC must be firm, must be strong, must go ahead with their intended demonstrations and programs against the government's policy. Somebody will say, oh, as MPs, we approve some of these things. When such bills are brought before Parliament, for the benefit of our viewers, the Speaker will refer it to a committee. For example, with this, maybe to go to the Energy Committee. They will deliberate. Members of the committee will express their views, especially the minority members who may be opposed to such policies. Everyone or every interested person can go to the committee level and make representations through their MPs. Because most of these bills are advertised, they are on the agenda of Parliament. You can go and make your input. You can go and check on the views of the minority from the minutes of the committee meeting or from the hands at the debate. So I believe sometimes when government wants to hide behind the introduction of such harsh policies and legislation, they'll say, oh, Parliament approved it. It was both the majority and the minority. But I will not believe that the minority will go and sit in a committee meeting or during the debate associate itself with such...
So you're saying that it's more of a decision of the collective?
It's not a collective decision, but once it's taken, government will lump everybody.
It's binding.
Yes, it's binding on
but
everybody.
But then there are genuine concerns.
From the minority, having regards to the situation.
The TUC says that, and I have to read this, they've given government a 1-week ultimatum. And Patrick, they said that if government fails to withdraw the levies on petroleum products, there are likely to be implications of nationwide actions. Now, we know TUC, they always do strike. After they've negotiated, you're not agreeing, they'll go on strike.
And after the
demonstration, strike.
Yes.
That's what it means.
It's sanctioned by the Constitution.
Sure. We're not saying it's wrong, is it?
Yeah, I'm not saying it's wrong. So TUC has every legal right to undertake or embark on any legal activity to drum home their concerns to government. I know government will come out and say that, oh, we are increasing the minimum wage to cushion you. But how much will such an increase be of any effect to the already affected and dying Ghanaian? So TUC has got to be strong, has got to negotiate well for workers, has got to embark on nationwide strike, and I endorse it.
But let's also look at this from a very realistic point of view. It's as if we all don't want to empathize with government. We're in deep difficulties as a country. And in the first meeting with the organized labor, the Minister of Labor made it very clear and categorical that, well, we owe the utility companies, and if we want to also make sure consistently we have energy supplies and other utility supplies, we need to make sure we raise within the year some 4.5 billion Ghana cedi. I don't know whether you saw that in the news items.
You see, government will always come out with excuses. As we sit here, government owes ECG. Government has to raise revenue. We know. But when you are raising revenue to kill the ordinary Ghanaian, that is where we have a problem. Is it a case that you always tax the poor and a few people who pay taxes to enable you raise the needed revenue?
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. For example, I have friends in the UK, elsewhere in the United States. They tell me they work hand to mouth. It means that they're taxed adequately. Unless you're a high-grade professional like yourself and others, you can't make it in the outside world. Those same resources that they use as a multilateral support for countries like us.
I beg to differ. Countries that you've mentioned, their citizens are able to live on their salaries. Nobody is paid 300 Ghana cedis a month. 300 Ghana cedis in dollar or pound sterling terms is what? $60 a month?
300 Ghana cedis approximately will be about $80, I think.
$80. Nobody in America gets paid $80 a month. That is the argument. They are able to pay for their children.
The economics of scale are not the same.
That's exactly. So when you tell me that somebody says they are overtaxed and they are able to live and it's hand to mouth, that is where I have a little problem. The economies are very good, vibrant. They channel resources to the right places. They are able to expand the economies. They don't tax people, and the net effect is that the economy shrinks. The economy is growing at 4%, 3 to 4%. We are always going to the capital market. We are always looking for revenue. For example, government says they are borrowing from the international capital market another 1 billion to service maturing debts. $1 billion to service maturing debts, not to even invest into the economy, to expand the economy, to create the jobs that the youth needs. So those are the angles you must look at. You're always taxing a few people, and the laziest way to tax the poor is to increase fuel prices so that people will start walking from here to Abeka instead of joining the trotro. So government has got to be innovative. Government has got to be prudent. I know Mr. Tekwe is a tax man. So as for tax people, they don't joke. They're always looking for ways to tax. For example, Mr. Tekwe brought to Parliament a bill that, the new income tax law, that you tax 1% on people's investment. People spoke against it. But now, when he saw the implementation challenges, he's now telling us that he's bringing a review back to Parliament. Parliament resumes sometime in the middle of this month, when you would have taxed a lot of poor people. For example, you are saving, you buy interest treasury bills. The interest that you earn, Mr. Tekwe says he's going to tax you 1%, Mr. Tekwe and President Mohammed's government, because that's the president's policy.
But that's my money.
That's your money. So what he's telling you is that I'm killing your quest to save and invest. And the banks will be unable to mop up the excess liquidity to be able to on-lend. Government is competing with the private sector for the little that is being saved. You remember government introduced this VAT on financial services. We complained about the implementation challenges. You can do your investigation whether it's being implemented effectively. Government forgot that if you say you are taxing 1% on investment, people are investing in treasury bills, in other bonds and other instruments. what platform do you have to be able to tax?
So it means that you're going to tax the already overtaxed person?
Straight away.
Because there are people in the informal sector who undertake investment.
And the danger is that you will not encourage people to save and invest.
In the formal way.
Yeah, they will keep the money under their beds, or they will convert what they have into dollars and keep it.
Or into some assets.
Yes. And it will have a serious effect on the economy.
I'll see how that goes. Would you have something to say about, as a minority, how the Labour front is perhaps also negotiating with government on the advocacy to make sure we have the reduction in the tariffs as well as the levies, if altogether they will be withdrawn in many respects, which many of us do doubt of?
One would have hoped that this year we would have enjoyed a stable Labour front because
the elections are coming.
Not because of the election, to boost productivity and to expand the economy. But last year, teachers strike, nurses, public servants, judicial service, everybody went on strike last year. Doctors. You remember or recall the showdown between the Ghana Medical Association and the government that led to a serious loss of lives in this country. One would have expected that government would have taken a cue from what happened last year. But government hasn't done that. They've gone ahead to introduce new tariffs. They've gone ahead to introduce new taxes, withholding tax from 5 to 15.5%. Government is saying that they are coming back to reduce it to 7.5%, 1% on individuals' investment incomes. Petrol has gone up, electricity. I bought prepaid, and less than 1 week, I was told that it was running. I asked myself, what is happening? So everybody is suffering in this country. Maybe government is being very, very insensitive to the plight of the people. They are going straight according to the dosage given by them by the IMF, which nobody forced them into, but by their own mismanagement and the deficit that we found ourselves in. So I believe and I endorse the position of organized labor to be firm with government, to sit down and dialogue and ensure that they negotiate well for the ordinary Ghanaian worker. And I endorse their position.
And we know that the negotiations will still continue. We hope that they come to some amicable consensus, and because that's what we all need. And
I pray Haruna does not come out with statements to smoothen things. I'm sure he's going to lead the government team for the negotiation, and I want organized labor to engage him effectively to ensure that they get the best for Ghana and workers.
Okay, you're just telling me he has his way around things.
I'm not saying that.
Well, we'll see how that goes. Apparently, we have 2 Gitmo detainees in Ghana, and already we're being told that the United States Embassy has assured us, as the Ghanaians, that the presence of the 2 detainees from the Guantanamo Bay prison poses no threat to the security of Ghana. Although the embassy could not give details about their location, it confirmed that the 2 men had arrived safely in the country. The 2 detainees that were transferred to Ghana, they've already arrived. They don't have access to the specifics of their whereabouts, but was telling the media you have to go to the government for further details. And that was from the public affairs counselor at the U.S. Embassy in Ghana. The 2 Guantanamo Bay detainees are Mahmoud Umar Mohammed bin Atef and Khalid Mohammed Saleh Al-Dube. And they've been in detention apparently for the last 14 years after being linked with terrorist group Al-Qaeda. You go on social media, you get to see detailed that have been quelled from the U.S. Justice Department and also from the website of the CIA, etc., about who they are, how they are. They fought alongside Osama bin Laden. They were trained by him as well. And we know that Honorable MP is not afraid. What do you make of all this?
Thank you.
You are a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament?
Yeah.
Oh, great. So we've got the right person.
Okay, thank you.
A pseudo foreign minister.
No, please. I'm just an ordinary member. I'm just an ordinary member of the committee. When the news broke out, I spoke to Joy FM, and I expressed my views, and I'll restate it here. I'm putting the Minister of Interior and the Foreign Affairs Minister on notice that I'll file an urgent question for them to come and explain to Ghanaians the circumstances leading to this resettlement of...
You were not told as Parliament?
We were not. We were not told.
You mean all this is coming to you as a surprise?
A surprise.
How is that possible?
It's very possible because the Foreign Minister and the Interior Minister are both members of the National Security Council. I'm sure it was a cabinet decision or a National Security Council decision, which is legitimate on government's part. But as people's representative who are going to live with this detainees from Guantanamo, we have to be briefed well, and we have to be assured that what the Americans are telling us and our Ghanaian officials are telling us, that they pose no security threat, we have to get it on record in Parliament. So I suggested that a joint committee of Foreign Affairs and Interior has got to be briefed by the Interior Minister and the Foreign Affairs Minister. One, you are telling us that, oh, they pose no security threat. They were cleared by the Americans. Why were they not sent back to where they were arrested to reintegrate in the society? Because that's where they will feel comfortable.
We're told, is it one or the other two were arrested or are from Yemen?
Yemen.
But Yemen is a conflict-ridden country, so to speak. It's not really as peaceful as we would want it to be.
So Ghana is very peaceful, so we accept everybody. We belong to the international community. We must accept every good citizen to come and live with us. But when there are issues around such people who have been in prison for 14 years and they are being resettled in Ghana, we as Ghanaians have a right to know their whereabouts and the circumstances leading to their being brought here to live with us. I think we have the right to know. Knowing how porous some of our institutions are they going to enable Ghanaians to know their location? Are we going to have enough information on them? I've read a lot on Fox News and on the internet on them, but that's not enough. When we meet as a committee, a joint committee, which I believe the Speaker will sanction on Interior and Foreign Affairs, we'll request for a lot of information on them, a lot of data, circumstances leading to the arrest and detention for 13 years. I read about their lawyer, Mr. Clark, saying that Atef was a nice man. I want to believe that. But if the Americans know that he was a good guy...
They wouldn't bring nice people, you are saying?
I'm saying that. Then they should have been sent back to Yemen to reintegrate.
We have to take a break. When we come back, Abraham Amaliba is a member of the NDC's legal team as well as the NDC's communication team. He will be in the studio and help us put together some icing on the cake on this very discussion about the Gitmo inmates who, after 14 years, have now been transferred to Ghana to come and have some cool tropical breeze in our country. We're taking a break. When we come back, Abraham Amaliba and his comments. And Abraham Amaliba is coming to give us a concluding minutes for us. How are you?
Let me apologize for coming in late.
Yeah, that's okay. But it's better to have you.
Yes, I was considering returning because of the heavy traffic or coming. I said, let me just come and show my face.
Great. Yeah. And it's good that you've shown your face. Yes. Now, Gitmo, I hear that your party's government, of course, which you are not a member. I mean, the government. He's not a member of the government.
He's a member of the government.
Oh, okay. A board member. How many? Okay, but that's okay. The Gitmo inmates are in here, but the consensus is that government seem to have breached the trust that the people of Ghana seem to have entrusted to it?
I can understand the concerns Ghanaians are raising, but again, you have elected a group of people to manage this country. They would normally have to take into consideration a number of factors. The managers of this country will not put the lives of Ghanaians at risk. So some background checks have been done on these people. The other day, we were told by the Minister of Foreign Affairs that our own ambassador to the U.S., who is also a military man, had some, intelligence report on them and interviewed them. So as they stand now, they are not a risk to the people of this country. Now, Ghana is a member of the Committee of Nations. We are also members of some international bodies. We have obligations under international law. And so we should be seen, fulfilling those obligations. It appears in Ghana, there's always hue and cry when we are called upon to discharge our obligations. The first one was Ebola trials. Hue and cry. It was sent somewhere. I asked myself, what if Ghana is struck by Ebola, for God forbid? Would we have the moral right to be calling on the World Health Organization to be coming to our aid?
Somebody will say it's not a fair comment. We've had refugees who have been in Ghana since the early part of the 1990s. They have a whole settlement. And indeed, our borders are very much open and very much receptive to all type of people.
But it is also true that in recent times, whenever we are called upon to discharge our international obligations, there's so much hue and cry. Even when the president took up the mantle to fight Ebola on behalf of the West African countries, hue and cry. Putting up Ebola centers in Ghana, hue and cry. I think that time has come for us to understand that this government will not put Ghanaians and take decisions that would be detrimental to the people of this country. Background checks have been done on these guys, and I do not think that they pose a threat to the people of this country.
Is this not almost like an imposition? You don't do the right consultations. You have a parliament. You have a committee that is also supposed to be having oversight responsibility for the sector. So
what stops the parliament? He is in parliament. What stops them from summoning the Minister of Finance?
What stops the government from informing parliament before taking the decision?
Foreign Affairs, rather, to come and explain to the August House why that decision is
What's the government in the first place of informing parliament prior to now?
This is not one of the issues. This is an executive decision. This is not one of the issues that you'll be calling on.
But democracy is supposed to be participatory.
Yes, but you have given the reins of government to a set of people who must take the decisions. And when they take wrong decisions, you vote them out. So this is a burden that the executive is carrying. It's not always that you go to parliament, every little thing, a pin drops in parliament house, you go to the legislature. No, this is not one of the issues. But if Ghanaians are raising concerns, Parliament, being the representative of the people, can then summon the Minister of Finance. I don't know why Minister of Finance.
Foreign Affairs.
Foreign Affairs, because they all start with F, isn't it?
No, it's because you'll be having financial issues with the latest increment.
So Minister of Foreign Affairs, to explain to the people of this country. But I think that we need to continuously explain to the people that these people do not pose a threat. In any case, let's look at it. We are not the ones who tortured these people. We are not the ones who maltreated them. We are not the ones who put them behind bars for 14 years without trial. I cannot for once see why they would want to target us in any case. I'm sure they would even see Ghana as supporting them and bringing them out of those difficult situations. So background checks have been done, and I don't think that they pose a threat at all.
Since you have so much knowledge about it, because Patrick Boama, who is a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, just so much deficient in knowledge about this very issue. Where would they be kept?
Where would they be kept? Don't forget there is a U.S. government that is even catering for them. And I'm sure that they will even live a much better life than the ordinary Ghanaian.
Well, we do understand. Where would they be kept?
Where would they be kept?
Is there a confined place or is just a house, let's say, based in East Legon or Trazaco, or maybe close to...
These are security matters, and I don't think it's within my purview. I will not know that.
All right. Okay.
You see, let's refer to the statement from the U.S. Embassy.
Okay.
Let me read for the benefit of the two detainees that were transferred to Ghana have already arrived. We don't have access to the specifics of their whereabouts. You have to go to the government of Ghana for that.
But he's not in mainstream government.
And you see, so when he said that the U.S. government was going to cater for them, it's not.
It is different from knowing where they are. See, the point is this: the U.S. government is catering for their upkeep, but now where they live is what the U.S. government is saying that we don't know the exact house,
okay.
We don't know the exact room, but after taking care of them, providing them with meals, it's all within the expenditure of the U.S. government.
Let me ask you, would they be going for holidays? Let's say go to Cape Coast, Kaku?
No, they are actually on confinement here.
You're saying they will enjoy life than the ordinary Ghanaians?
Oh, yes. No, but you should know they will be giving some stipends, which is above $2 a day. How many Ghanaians are living
about $2 a day?
I'm just suggesting because they will not go below the UN standard.
Well, in pidgin parlance, we would have said, Charlie, you get fill out. Anyway.
Abraham is a member of the government communications team. And maybe he's been briefed on their whereabouts.
But you're saying Parliament is like you are going to pose an urgent question?
Yes, to the foreign minister.
When are you resuming?
Close to the 20th of January.
Okay. Well, wish you all the best, the two of you, and I hope that you enjoy your weekend, and we hope to see you next week.
Oh, that's the last topic.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you were excited.
I thought you were talking about VRA's
We wanted to. We don't have the time. We have to do entertainment.
The fact that VRA has owes Merchant Bank. Government has got to release some financial instruments for them to be able to buy the crude oil that they need to power the plants.
Because they have been given the assurance.
Especially when the Atuabo gas plant is undergoing some maintenance. So we beg government to take the necessary steps to give the promissory notes that Merchant Bank needs so that VRA gets them.
We should make you the member of the Mines and Energy Committee as well.
I read a lot about everything. So.
Yeah, sure.
But has the MPP paid Prudential Bank the money they owe them?
Well, MPP? We don't owe Prudential Bank. Oh. They should take us to court if we owe them.
Oh, they were trying to
I don't.
We're taking a break. When we come back, Gladys already will be here with entertainment. Okay. So I don't know all about Prudential Bank, MPP, and VRA, whether that will be part of entertainment. It won't be, I can assure you. We're taking a break. When we come back, Gladys already.